G'day, I'm going to show you the latest updates that I've done on Source of the Nile. Uh, it's been mainly eye candy stuff like graphical, and this is an example of what I did. I had a good look at the desk here, and I'm thinking, it all looks pretty good, but I wasn't really happy with the watch. It looked like the guy had found it in a dumpster outside his window, and it looked old and it really didn't fit in with what you'd think this person would have, a bit more upmarket. So you can see on the left here, I went into Cinema 4D and I remodeled the watch. Another thing I did was the key here it has got a texture, but it doesn't look like metal. So I redid the texture on the music box. Once again, I did the music box using Cinema 4D. It's the only way you can get realism is to actually construct these things as a three-dimensional model. I worked the textures here on the inkwell a little bit better, the lighting and etc. But my the biggest gripe I had was with this pen. It's just a drawing pasted onto the desk, and it really shows. You can see that it hasn't got any life to it. So I went in the old Cinema 4D again and created a new pen. Feather was tricky, but I think I managed to do a reasonable job of it, and overall it looks pretty good compared to the old version. Look, as far as scale, I mean, you could argue that the scale could be a little bit off in places, especially I think when you see the newspaper, fair enough. But you've got to keep in mind it is just a game, and yeah, I could have made a big desk, but then things start to get spread out. You really want to try and keep things compact, easy to get to, and I don't know. I think it's worked out fairly good. There are, sorry, a couple of other things that I've done. I'll show you now. I have to load the game up. Okay. Okay, here it is. Don't know what that is. Some sort of glitch. Here we go. I was experimenting with a few things. I've never had that come up before. All right, so the other thing I've done is I reworked the way that not the way, but the description on the selection. Previously, you would go across the heads here and there'd be a little yellow pop-up that would give you a one-liner to what the attributes of each one of these explorers were. Now I've gone to this, a little post-it note. I thought, well, it gives it a little bit more descriptive depth to it, I suppose. And I'm thinking, well, why not? I guess the guy could have sat there with a note and made some mental notes to himself before he took off to the wilds of Africa. And what I was able to do here was give the player an idea that as a doctor, you do have to spend time with the natives, and you've got a risk of catching diseases. Ethnologist, yes, you have to spend time with them as well, but you've got the advantage of being able to haggle with them. With the explorer, there are, those of you who played the game know that there are bonuses in this game, and some bonuses do pop up more than others. In the case of the explorer, you get a lot more trophies where they bag. I think the term they use, they bag a trophy, a dangerous animal, and obviously you get victory points for that. The geologist, the biggest bonus, apart from the obvious finding deposits of mineral deposits, is the land deals with the friendly native chiefs. That seems to be quite a large percentage of the bonuses. Journalist, well, yeah, I doubled up here. I added the fact that you get £1,000 plus a free ticket. I've already got that in the instructions here anyway. It's somewhere in there. So here it is here. So it's a double up, but I thought, well, why not? The player can get that straight up, and there it is. Missionary, once again, a missionary has to spend time with natives. And last but not least, the zoologist. I did a bit of a blurb on getting the animal trophies back to England in crates. which the game rules do specify that that's what happens. Uh, all right, so they are the main major changes. Internally in the game, I have made changes with the guides. Guides, geez, they desert you very quickly, and they're pretty useless, I think. And look, I could have tampered around with it and buffed them up a bit, but it doesn't really keep in with the game. But however, I did do it, and I did it because I got a hold of the tributary, which is an add-on to the source of the Nile. I've got the 1980 something edition, and in the 1979 edition, it lacked a lot of things that the tributary uh, did put in later into the later editions. And when I read through it, a lot of the stuff had already been implemented. But there was one thing about, I think, swamps and native guide. Yeah, there was a thing about guides, also explorer advantages, disadvantages. I haven't gone down that track, but I certainly looked at guides and thought, well, what happens if you hire a native guide from a tribe? Then surely they must be a little bit more experienced with the terrain. So I buffed them up by a factor of one modifier. Means nothing to you, but it adds a plus one, I guess, to the modifier. So it means that the guides hired from tribes won't get lost as easily, but they're not super guides, and they'll trudge you through swamp, jungle swamps and stuff like that. So I had to keep it. I had to keep it real. Swamps is the other one I mentioned. Swamps pop up a lot, or can pop up a lot, and create, as it said in the tributary instruction, they can create huge, land of swamp, which looks a bit unrealistic. So I did use their advice and tame that down a little bit. They also spoke about lakes, but look, how far can you go with this stuff until like, how much do I destroy? What, 6.5 years of work, if not more? And it's done. It's working. I've polished up a few things here and there, and I think enough is enough. It's time to sort of enjoy it. So I'll might do that. I'll set off as a journalist. I like journalists because you can zoom around anywhere you like and select your port. And I'll go to Zanzibar. I'll do, and I'm going to head off absolutely with nothing but a shirt on my back and a pith hat on my head, a pith helmet. That's PITH, by the way. And I'm going to see how long I survive here. Now, having said that, oh, look at that. I'm starving. I'll probably end up playing 5 hours straight without dying. I know, pretty quick. Pretty quick and brutal, this game. And of course, the hyenas come in and pick what's left of me, and that's the end of that. Well, like I said, I think I've done all I can with this game, and I'm just now going to enjoy it and play it. See ya.